Smart, bringing people together. And the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And welcome, Paul. And
yes.
Happy belated birthday.
I'll
say happy birthday because we didn't have you here yesterday.
Yes, thank you.
How are you doing?
I am doing fine. Well rested. Actually, I didn't go out partying last night as some
it's a work week.
would assume. It is a work week. I actually spent the day at work for my birthday.
Yeah.
But it's just another day in the calendar for some people like myself. It's just calendar days are just flipping through. The years are just going by, and it's like, do I stop and reminisce on the fact that I'm getting older, or do I just let it pass? And you know what? Yesterday I let it pass. Yesterday I worked, went home, had some food, ensured that I got into bed early so that I could be here tonight. Just being the responsible adult that I am.
Yes, I agree. But I'm hoping that you at least gave yourself an opportunity to reflect on how far you've come. You are in your third decade. I won't give the exact age, but I know that around this time, I'd say for every birthday at least, it's important to reflect on the year prior. Of course, also look towards the things that you're hoping to achieve in this new year. I think you've really accomplished a lot based on what I've seen in your year prior. So I'm hoping that you give yourself a pat on the back, a pat on the shoulder, and you recognize that there are so many people that are proud of you and all that you have achieved. So I know we weren't able to tell you happy birthday in person, but we did give you a shout out yesterday, so you know. Yes, we did. Now we know you know watch morning show. And also, guys, we didn't get any cake, so I'm not sure if there's a reason why.
The truth is, I didn't get any cake.
Okay.
So nobody gets cake on Paul's birthday, at least.
Well, hopefully we change that before the week is out. But Paul, we do want to jump into what's buzzing this morning. I know there's quite a few topics that are currently trending both online and in the news. Starting off, we shared a devastating story of a lady who traveled all the way from the United States to come and receive the body of her son, who would have passed away by way of murder just a few days ago, and that's Mr. Talbert. Now, Mr. Talbert was supposed to apparently have his funeral on Sunday by way of obviously receiving the body and having a formal funeral ceremony. But his mother, when arriving to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital to receive that body, was given an announcement or given news that her son was mistakenly cremated.
Yeah, this story stomps me. We received the call just before news time, and when we say just before news time, it could be about an hour or less before news time, and that's when we received the call. This mother in distress who came from the U.S. to prepare for her son's funeral on Sunday comes to find out that the body that she is just hoping to see to get some closure no longer exists in that form because her son's body has been cremated. And so what she gets instead is this urn filled with ashes. Something went wrong. And you know, thankfully yesterday, unlike stories we've seen in the past, we got two sides. I think the last time we saw something like this, we got the one side of the story, and that was from the grieving mother. So in this case, we got two sides. We got the grieving mother saying, hey, I'm not sure what happened, but I know that I came to receive a body, and I got ashes. and then we got also a perspective from the funeral home, which is Munnings Funeral Home. Now the way Munnings, and this is Andrew Munnings, the owner, Munnings, the owner of the funeral home, he basically explained that he contracted out this transportation from the autopsy or the medical school in Barrowboom to the morgue at the KHMH. And it appears, based on his explanation, that communication got lost or confused. There was some miscommunication between his company and the company, the funeral home he contracted to carry out this transportation. So a cremation was supposed to happen on Monday as well for a female, a woman, and that cremation did not take place.
It was canceled.
So it was canceled,
according
to Mr. Munnings. The same company that was to transport Mr. Talbert's body was also to carry out the cremation. Cremation cancels. All right. The cremation canceled, but we still have this body to transport. The way Mr. Munnings is explaining it, it seems as if it's just one of those unfortunate situations that played out in a manner that no one, especially somebody in his position that owns a funeral home, would want for this to play out. Makes a call, all right, it's canceled, but we still need this body to be transported. And so apparently, according to the mother and what we're hearing from Mr. Munnings, the individual, the Liva Funeral Home that he names, is saying that, well, we heard cremation, and basically that's what we thought the assignment was. And so in the transportation of transporting this body, it did not come to the morgue. It actually went to where the cremation takes place, and the body was cremated. Now, this is not the first time we're hearing of something like this, and there's so many questions one would want to ask, like, for example, the individuals that do these cremations, the company, whosoever it may be. I'm not fully aware of who does this, or where, or when, or why, how, right? But isn't there a process that you must undergo to ensure that the individual you're cremating is the individual that should be cremated? Isn't there a document, maybe the family signed it, saying, I want this body to be cremated, or a checkbox that does not have a check mark next to cremation, so that you give that over to the cremation company so that they could verify that this is to be cremated? Because if that, at least just that one check and balance is not in place, I could take a body, I feel like I could take a body to the cremation center and say, or the cremation company, and say, hey, this body needs to be cremated, and get rid of some evidence, and perhaps thinking too critical here. But if that could happen, what else could happen?
It could easily slip under the radar. And that was essentially some of the questions that were being asked by the mother. The process that goes in place when it comes to a body being cremated. As you mentioned, Paul, this was the cremation of a male when the original person that should have been cremated was going to be a female. So if there was something as simple as perhaps presenting a death certificate, I think we could see the difference already between gender when it comes to that. So I know that this has to be a completely hard situation to deal with. As the mother mentioned, she now is not being able to get the closure that she needed. She was not only not here when her son would have been murdered, but now coming back to Belize to bury her son. Now she's also not being able to see his body. So she's going to have to come to terms with the fact that she only has the remains of her son in ash form. I know for a lot of people, and this was a discussion that I think we could also have when it comes to the sensitivity to cremation. There's not a lot of people who are comfortable with that. Or I should say that there are a healthy amount of people who just simply prefer the more conventional form of these burials or these services. They prefer a body in place. But of course, cremation is a service that is still available for persons who are willing to use that. And at this time, of course, if that wasn't something that you wanted, it's simply just not something that you wanted.
Yeah,
of
correct.
course, this mother as well, she seems to have expressed her grievances about the situation, but the funeral home has taken full responsibility for what has happened. We spoke to Mr. Munnings, and he has said that even though the body was not transported directly from him, he still takes responsibility because he was the one that accessed the service of the other funeral home. So at this time, that's the only thing that we have from them as well.
Yeah, one question is if this is the same funeral home that did the cremation, I'm not Munnings, but is this the same cremation facility that did the cremation for the little baby that where the story was concerned last year at KHMH? And if that's the case, this is a huge concern. But even if it's not the case, then it begs the question, what's happening at these cremation centers in terms of process and procedures? But not that, I mean, the focus here is not only on the cremation facility, but there's a larger picture at play that really needs a bit more investigation and deep diving into what's happening.
Absolutely. And my final thought on this topic, Paul, is simply for services like this, I think it's important for everyone to remember that these are loved ones. This is a loved one of someone else. It's not just a body that they're going to burn or that they're going to dress to put in a box, you know. This is the last memory that these loved ones would have of this person that would be deceased. So please, for anyone that works in this type of service industry, remember that when it comes to receiving information and ensure that you clarify so as to avoid situations like this. But moving into another topic that I know definitely will be causing quite a buzz is the announcement of 3 new electric buses. Now, for you persons who might have not been able to access the e-runs here in Belize City and you live out district, this might be an opportunity for you, specifically those persons traveling out west and up north. The Belize City Council made the announcement that 3 new buses, a fleet of 3 new electric buses, are currently here in Belize, and they are welcoming bidders who are interested in taking on this route. Now, the specificity of this, Paul, is that the bidder would have to access 3 of the buses, not just 1. And there's a list, a criteria of what that would involve for them to be able to even qualify for this as well.
Yes, so the fact of the matter here is, and I'm looking at the article that Marian Ali wrote up yesterday, that this is from the United Nations Development Program, and they provided funding to acquire the fleet of electric buses. So we saw 2 in Belize City, and I haven't gotten the opportunity to ride those buses yet, but it's not because they're banning me from the buses. It's just because I haven't found the need to ride them and take the route. But I do plan to just get up one Saturday morning and just ride it for
I've heard people say they just go on it for the AC, especially on hot days like yesterday.
Exactly. So I might just be taking a couple trips one day when it's really hot. So that's 2 for Belize City, and then there's 3 for inter-district runs across the western and northern routes. So these 3 buses are expected to run west and north. So this, according to the e-mobility project manager, Tahira Usher over there at UNDP Belize, these 3 buses will be running opposite direction. 2 will be running opposite, while the 3rd will be running along the northern route. So 2 on the western and 1 on the northern. Quite an exciting time for Belizeans, quite an exciting time for the transportation industry, because here we're not only talking about new buses, for the interdistrict routes. We're talking about e-buses.
Yes.
Right? So this where we start get bougie. Right? This is how we coffee start, step out and feel like, all right, make a catch the new e-bus and see what it feels like. And based on the experience that we are having in Belize City, a good experience, my understanding is there's a great deal of excitement that comes with riding these new buses, and I would imagine that it also paves the way for this e-mobility movement in Belize in terms of new charging stations being established across the western corridor and the northern corridor, because these buses will need it. And I understand there are already charging stations at different key points in different municipalities. But imagine what will happen when more and more of these buses, more and more of this development, and we see, like I've seen Teslas in Belize now as well. I know we have a Cybertruck in Belize as well, different hybrids as well in Belize. And so all of this is just on the pathway towards more sustainable source mobility in Belize, and it's exciting times.
Absolutely.
Who knows? We may be owning e-vehicles in the future, and the children coming up, it may just be a norm for them.
Absolutely. So we do want to remind you guys that the bid is open. If you have a business or you're just an individual who would like to tap into this as a business venture, the opportunity exists there. As we mentioned, there are a few criterias involved in bidding for this project. I believe it involves having a business plan, having the human resources to accommodate this. But I think beyond that, Paul, we have seen, and we've spoken to folks from the Belize City Council who have implemented the e-buses in their transportation system, that it is profitable as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the businesses or individuals who decide to tap into this, and of course hearing feedback from them on what the route and the profit looks like as well.
Clearly it's going to be a bit more costly.
Yeah.
And two, I'm sure you're going to have traditional public transport operators that are going to be up in arms to some extent.
Well,
and so those are all discussions that will be had.
Well, Ms. Usher did mention yesterday via interview that the route that they have chosen, they've ensured and they've done research that it will not be interfering with any of the other routes that are currently in place. So that is an interesting point. We'll see what they say.
They did research in Belize City, and there's a whole new route that's not that shouldn't be affecting the current traditional routes in place. And look what's happening. You take my money from me. As far as I'm concerned, you could go through Baka Bush, and if the people decide for ride with you Baka Bush, then people gonna ride with me.
Well, that's a great point, Paul. We'll see what that develops into further. But our final topic, and this one is on social media, Paul. I have to share this. Last week, Friday, we showcased a video from our colleague Hippolyto Novello walking around in the streets of Belize City, asking civilians questions regarding facts about Belize. Last week we highlighted questions being asked about the national symbols and if Belizeans know their national symbol. Well, this morning we want to showcase a video that was asked, that Polo asked civilians if they know their national anthem. Do you know your national anthem? We're going to find out what they had to say.
Sing the national anthem.
What, sir?
Sir, no, sir.
The whole national anthem?
Wait, don't watch the lyrics?
Yes, you should do it, right?
My God.
Oh, say the national anthem then.
O land of the free of the Carib Sea. But I only could sing at school, so I can't remember
The first two lines.
O land of the free by the Carib Sea.
Our man.
Oh, that there's that liberty.
Oh, land of the free. No? At least say it with it.
O land of the free by the Carib Sea, Ocean. Our man who pledged to thy liberty, no tyrants here linger, despots must flee this tranquil haven of democracy.
And the chorus?
Hi sir, hi sir, hi sir. The chorus?
Oh, land of the free by the Carib Sea, our man who did pledge to a liberty, oh, tyrants no linger, Let's pass for Swedish flag. Invaders of heritage from Guardian on up the Ostars to coral lands of the Blue Lagoon. Keep watch with the angels, the stars and moon. For freedom goes tomorrow's noon. Alright. Is of the bare man's land. Put on your armor, clear the land. Drive back the tyrants, let this was free land of the free by the captive sea. I lose my breath. Sing me the national anthem.
I don't know the ballad, make it, I don't know if to sing.
Okay, wait. Tell me the national anthem.
Land of the free.
You don't start that. You missed one crucial word at the beginning.
The land of the free.
Oh, land.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
man. Yes, man. All right. So give me. Okay. So give me the first 4 lines then.
Oh, land of the free by the Caribbean Sea. This is crazy.
Okay. Oh, land of the free by the Caribbean Sea.
Damn, that's crazy. I've listened that long time.
Oh, lands of the free by the Caribbean Sea.
So thy labor. Listen, got me to sing.
No tyrants here lingers. Despise must be this. The other 3 lines. One more line.
Despise must be this flag waving off the cross.
There you go. Sure, you have a bit of
Land
fun.
of the free by the Caribbean Sea. Our manhood we pledge to the liberty. No tyrants and linger.
No, rewind. Let go, rewind. Nope, I know. Let go start all over again.
Okay.
Oh, land.
of the free by the Caribbean Sea. Our manhood we pledge to the liberty. No tyrants must linger.
No.
Linger. No
Yes.
tyrants should linger.
No, I know.
And linger.
No tyrants and linger.
I
Put a
know.
linger.
No tyrants must linger.
Must no.
It's not that.
No.
No.
I don't know.
Hint.
Hint. No tyrants sit linger. What?
No, you're just giving me a hint.
No tyrants aki.
There were quite a few, I guess, chuckles that I had throughout that video.
Yeah.
I think it really speaks to the fact that we probably need to brush up on our national anthem. A lot of us should.
It's way harder saying the national anthem.
I agree.
Than singing the national anthem. I'll be quite frank to say that there may be 1 or 2 words that I still get wrong. Just 1 or 2 that I still get wrong in singing. I listened to a man stand beside me last week and sing the national anthem out loud and clear in public. I mean, he was clear and he was loud, right? Like I don't know if he wanted to be seen or if he was just placing emphasis, but there was a part where he sung and I heard his words and I was like, wait, you sung like you correct and I may wrong my entire life with that part, but I never heard it so clear. And so admittedly at my age, there are a few words in the national anthem that I'm getting, and I think when I reach 60, 70, I'll finally have it done back in its entirety.
Well, I love your honesty, Paul,
Yeah.
and I share your sentiment as well. Last night when I was watching that video, I was trying to challenge myself to say the national anthem, and I think I failed miserably because while saying it, I found myself trying to remember what came next. And I think that's the situation for a lot of the people. That, of course, as well being on camera too, the pressure of that, you tend to forget as well. But it's quite an interesting watch, and if you don't follow us on TikTok, definitely check us out at News 5 Live. But moving now into our eye-opener for your daily dose of morning motivation.
All right, and so eye-opener taken from dailyarm.com, and it goes like this. Sweeping the front porch every morning is an important cleansing ritual that prepares the ground for new energy. In some of our lives, sweeping has become an activity performed without much thought. In many cases, sweeping is a lost art, replaced by the noisy, efficient vacuum cleaner. But in several cultures and religions, sweeping the front and back porch every morning is regarded as an important cleansing ritual that prepares the ground for new energy on every level, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. It is often employed to sanctify a space and prepare it for a ceremony. This seemingly simple action has the power to clear away the old and make space for the new. It stirs up the energy in a place, clearing out the astral buildup that is the natural byproduct of the presence of humans. This kind of sweeping is not about cleaning the area of dust. In fact, the broom doesn't have to actually touch the ground to be effective. You might want to consider having two different brooms. One you use for cleaning dust and dirt, and one you use for energy cleaning. If you are inspired, you can decorate your broom by carving its handles, painting it, decorating it with gemstones and ribbons or any other creative adornment that appeals to you. You can also make your own broom out of tree branches and twigs, or choose a naturally appearing broom from nature such as a pine bow. Sweeping each morning prepares the ground for the new day at the same time as it deepens our awareness of the importance of letting go of the past to welcome the present. As we clear the energy of our space, we clear our own energy systems. In addition, we create a space that feels clean, clear, and open to all who enter. Be sure to think welcoming thoughts as you sweep, manifesting what you need for the day. Making sweeping part of your daily ritual tunes us into the continuing cycle of releasing the old and welcoming the new. That is the hallmark of a healthy energy system. What in the witch is
I was thinking, that is interesting.
It is.
It is
I've
so interesting.
never in my life
Never
heard of such an approach.
If I go and sweep my porch, it's because I'm looking for dust.
Dust, no. This one, you're looking to cleanse the bad energy and make way for the new energy of manifesting good things. I think it's similar to, you know, when you do a cleaning and it kind of rejuvenates the soul. You're in a dirty space, and then you're like, oh, I can't think well, I can't function well, and then you clean up and it's like, all right, this feels better.
Your mind feels
Your
clearer.
mind feels clearer. I think this is a similar concept, but with energy. But I personally, I'm not about to go and carve and decorate my broom with gemstone or get a new broom. But to each his own. But I like the approach, perhaps not physically sweeping, but you can mentally sweep a space and sweep out negative energy and make way for new and clean, positive thoughts every
Absolutely. And I'll leave it right there with that one, too. Moving now into our weather update for an update from the folks at the Met Service on what we can expect today.
Good morning. Generally fair weather prevails. The 24-hour forecast. Skies will be sunny with a few cloudy spells today and then clear to partly cloudy tonight. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated with a chance for a few more over the south tonight. High temperatures for today will reach around 91 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 95 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 83 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 94 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 5 to 15 knots, and sea conditions will be slight. Low tides occur at 12:04 this afternoon and then at 10:14 tonight. High tides at 6:47 this evening and then at 4:56 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 1:46 this afternoon and set at 12:53 tomorrow morning, And then sunset is at 5:56 this evening and sunrise at 5:40 tomorrow morning. The extended forecast is for similar weather conditions to continue on Friday and Friday night. And now for the tropical weather outlook. At 3 a.m., Tropical Depression 7 was located near latitude 17.3 north and longitude 33.0 west, or about 600 miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands, with maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour and moving to the west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
All right, there you have it. Moving now into our show lineup, Paul, we have a jam-packed show this Thursday morning. Starting things off in our first segment, we'll be joined by the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future, who will be talking to us about the call for proposal.
And in our second conversation, here's an event that I could clearly remember we discussed last year, and we're having our good friends on again from the Belize Birding Festival to speak about that upcoming event.
And if you have been watching the show from last week, I can clearly remember our Thursday segment last week as well. And we will be joined by members of NIME, who will be talking to us and highlighting women in business.
And then our final segment, we have an interesting talent, a Belizean artist, Randy Carcamo, who pursued the arts in Taiwan. Well, he'll be joining us to talk about his experience.
Wonderful. Well, we got to take our first break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future on a call for proposal. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And I work at UMAL. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money and gas price, because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connection. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
We all know about the phasing out of single-use plastics and the enactment of pollution from the plastics regulations. One of the key components in this regulation states that for an item to be considered biodegradable, it must consist of more than 50% of bio-based content. Here, you will find out how the Department of the Environment determines what items meet the criteria and what equipment is being used to guide that process.
Since 2019, the Department of the Environment has been working with CIFAS in doing microplastics. Through this project, CIFAS has donated 2 microscope Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy equipment to strengthen capacities on monitoring and enforcement to reduce marine litter and plastic pollution. The FTIR can be used to identify unknown materials The Department of the Environment will use the equipment to determine the composition of single-use plastics and biodegradable products to enforce the environmental protection, pollution from plastics regulations.
While we have a long way to go with the implementation of the pollution from plastics regulation, having this equipment is one step closer. For more information on what's being done about biodegradables and ways you can help, visit our website at www.doe.gov.bz.
Welcome back. We are jumping into our first conversation this morning. And as we mentioned, it's all about the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future on a call for proposal. We have here with us this morning Dr. Leandra Cha Ricketts, and she is the Executive Director for the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future. And she is joined by Josue Oliva, Program Manager, also for the Belize Fund for a Sustainable Future. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Morning, and thank you for having us here
Of course.
this morning.
Now, this is a complete pleasure having you guys here on this morning. I know we have quite a few to jump into. I know we also have some giveaways as well, so we want to remind our viewers to pay keen attention to possible questions that may be coming up from our conversation. Let's begin with an overview of the Belize Fund.
Right, so the Belize Fund is a private conservation trust fund, and it was established primarily to support marine conservation activities in Belize. And it was established coming out of the Blue Loan Agreement, you know, the historic that swap agreement signed in 2021. And so the fund, it was established specifically to manage the proceeds, conservation payments, those proceeds coming out of the Blue Loan Agreement, which are to be directly invested into marine conservation and blue economy related activities. So the fund does that, and we do that through several programs.
Yeah.
Why do you refer to it as private when the Blue Loan Agreement seemed to have been a public interest?
Right. So that's a good question. So in terms of the mechanisms coming out of the Blue Loan Agreement, one of the conditions was to be able to have a fund, an independent fund that can manages these monies in a transparent, accountable fashion, and independent of the influence of government. You know, governments change from time to time. So the design is that the fund would be private and independent. It does not mean it doesn't have government's involvement in it, of course not. The board is a 9-member board with a non-government majority, so we have government members and we have members from the private sector. But why it's private is because we have a majority of private board members.
That makes sense. What are some of the projects you all have spearheaded to date, if any at all?
Well, we have many projects.
Okay.
I think close to 13 or 14.
Already?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, nice.
This is our third call. So we have these projects that are ongoing, and most of them are based, and you'll be seeing or hearing about them. I think you have through media. We just launched one with Barranco, through the National Garifuna Council that will be looking at the study coastal erosion in Barranco. We have others that look at manatees, corals, and the others looking at the use of technology within their reserves as well. So we have quite a few of them.
Okay, and ongoing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how much money, if I could put it broadly, does this fund manage?
On an annual basis, it's approximately currently it's 3.7 million US that we manage, and about 40% of that goes into government support, 40% into non-government support, and the remaining, well, it's a little more than that actually. About 42% goes to government, 42% goes to non-government, and then the remainder is for operations. So that translates to, so far, after 2 years, we've invested and committed 18 million Belize dollars, and of which 11.6 is funding that's directed to the government for 3 years. And so far, for the 2 grant cycles we've had for non-government groups, we've invested 6.9 million. Belize,
Wow.
this is now Belize.
Wow. And how do you all decide on the projects? Is it a board meeting decision?
That's a very interesting question. Of course, it's a competitive process, right? Just to let you know, in this call, we had 37 applications coming in, and out of those, if you add them all up, it would come up to about 8 million. And we don't have that amount of money to give out, so it has to be through a competitive process. We look at the impact that the project will be providing, if there will be the impact, if it's aligned to what we can support, and of course looking at the feasibility of the project. So based on those things, we have a weighted score, and then through a board, they review it, a committee, the Blue Bonds Committee reviews it, and based on that, they decide which projects are to be funded. So it's not the director or me saying, well, this one or arbitrarily. It goes through a very accountable and transparent process in the selection of who gets a grant.
And after these grants are given, is there any monitoring and evaluation processes that take place after to ensure that it was successful?
Oh, definitely. That's a big part of our work. We have a monitoring officer, and we have a project officer as well that keep track. We always try to tell the partners it's not just their project, it's all of us. It's for the benefit of us, because their success is our success, and our success is their success as well. So that we keep track on them. We have a monitoring tool that we use internally to keep track. We have quarterly check-ins, and if we need to, then we do site visits as well to ensure that the projects are progressing well, that they're meeting their benchmarks, and that the overall achievements of the results or the goals that they want to achieve is looked at.
So when we think conservation, we think protection of the environment, protection of species. Let's talk about some of these protected species that the Belize Fund would be providing support for.
Well, so, I mean, overall, like I said, the funding we have is to support the conservation commitments the government signed on to, and the country, through the Blue Loan Agreement, and those are around several milestones. A big part of that is focused on expanding our marine protected areas up to 30% of our territory, right? So there's a lot of work going into that and putting in place the mechanisms. So of course that is not just areas we're protecting, but ecosystems and species. And so our approach is comprehensive, is at the ecosystem level. Nevertheless, some of our current projects do support within the marine protected areas, looking at things like sharks, whale sharks, your hammerhead sharks, manatees are one of the species we're helping to support right now, work related to them, and I think megafauna is sharks. So those are two main groups, right?
Find studies about them.
But we focus on, we look more at the large scale, and it's ecosystems and species. We're not strictly conservation, because one of our thematic areas is looking at blue business innovation. So we also help to support developing a sustainable blue economy. So it's looking at the balance between how we conserve things, but are able to derive livelihoods from them.
So with the Belize Fund being in existence for really just a short while now, we can put it, has there been any commendable or worthwhile of mentioning milestones that we can share with our viewers as it relates to what the fund has achieved?
Well, I would say primarily over the first 2 years, we have put in place this mechanism, and it's a long-term sustainable mechanism for support to non-government entities where we have our grant-making programs. Because the fund, the idea is over 20 years and then beyond, the fund would be providing the support. And I would say through the investments we've given, we have helped the co-managers of our marine protected areas a lot with support for daily management of these areas to ensure they're working and functioning as marine protected areas. But I think we have also learned as we have gone along in these first 2 years to be able to be responsive and to develop fit-for-purpose grant-making opportunities. And so we recognize from last year when we were going through our strategic planning, or starting our strategic planning process, that we needed to be able to get down and give support to community level applicants, because for the most part it's NGOs that we're accessing. Of course, we have eligibility criteria. You need to meet certain criteria to access funding, and because of that we develop a special modality or a window referred to as community grants. And so I'll have Josue expand a bit on that, because then he will tell you about some of the applications that came.
Yeah.
Right. So this call for proposal was, as we get better at it, try to be as inclusive as possible and try to ensure that we are fit for purpose. That it's not just the big NGOs that are getting the funding, but also communities are also included, because at the ending of the day, when you think about it, communities have some very good ideas, especially because they're the ones on the ground that are actually feeling the changes.
Absolutely.
Right? So what we have done, this call for proposal is created a new category or a window that will allow communities to actually apply, and that's the community grant. So we have our regular grants, which are the large, medium, and small, and then we have the community grants. The big difference with that is that under the community grants, we had some wiggle room as it relates to the eligibility, and that is because one of the main risks associated with project implementation, which is the financial risk, is being looked at. It's being mitigated, and we're mitigating by ensuring that the fund manages the monies for them. So they do all the activities. If they want to have their meetings, their trainings, and so on, the communities will be the ones spearheading that, leading it. They will be the ones doing it. However, the fund will be providing the financial support for them, right? So they're still able to do their activities. However, we've mitigated the financial risks that are there.
What type of financial support are we looking at when it comes to community in this instance? Is it in the hundreds of thousands? What type of figure are we talking?
Right. So for starters, and this is the first time we're executing this funding window, our targets are between 50 to 75,000 for community grants. However, if you're looking at the regular grants, then the ranges and the categories change, right? But for the community grants, that's what we have available right now. So it's a good start. We want to play it out and see how it goes, and obviously if it goes well, then we'll see how to change maybe or adapt based on the lessons we've learned over this first phase.
And the size of the grant for the individual projects?
Right, that's a good word that you use, individuals. And I would just like to point out that we don't fund individuals, right? Although you didn't say it, but
and not the individual, the individual project, because you said there's community-based and then there's the smaller projects.
So entities that are applying under the regular grants, which is the small, medium, and large. A small grant is up to 50,000 Belize dollar. A medium grant is up to 150,000 Belize dollars. Of course, they have the time frames that you need to implement it on. And the large grants are up to $800,000. However, I would just like to point out too that this year we have roughly about 2.6 million to be given in grants, which means that it is very competitive.
Wow.
We will have to be very careful in the way we select and very transparent as well to ensure that the monies are actually going out there that will give us the best bang for the buck. You know.
What's the overall objective here? What are we trying to achieve through the distribution of these grants, the execution of these projects? Trying to get an idea so that it doesn't look like it's just a sporadic thing where, oh, we got money, Cola, you take some, you do something over there, you take something, you do something over there, you take some, you do something over there.
Well, back to the whole focus of the Blue Loan Agreement, the conservation commitments coming out of that, those are really the overarching guide for this funding, and in addition to that, some conservation undertakings. So it's looking at, like I said, expanding our marine protected areas to 30% of our territory, developing and implementing a marine spatial plan, which is the Belize Sustainable Oceans Plan. You may have heard about that process going on, and that's to enable us to more sustainably manage our entire ocean space, right? And within that is of course the development of blue economy, which means how we utilize all our blue space and utilizing it in a sustainable fashion for livelihoods, things like fisheries, tourism, areas we haven't delved into yet related to energy, sustainable energy or renewable energy, marine transportation. So these funding, the funds we have and the funding we provide is all towards helping Belize achieve that nexus of conserving our ocean space while enabling vibrant development of a vibrant blue economy. So under the non-government grants or the grants award program, we focus on 4 thematic areas. So related to protection for biodiversity, so grants can fit under that. Sustainable fisheries, that's a big priority for Belize, right? We know that our economy depends a lot on fisheries. Climate resilience, that's a very important area currently with climate change and all that's happening. You saw last year was a major bleaching event. It's still going on now. Our reefs are really threatened. Yeah. So funding is going into building our resilience in regards to that. And the final area touches on the blue economy aspect, looking at supporting blue business innovation, so helping communities be able to develop sustainable blue businesses as livelihoods.
So we touched on the themes that these proposals will have to encompass. Correct. What exactly should that proposal entail as well? We know what the themes should be, but what are the requirements that they need to submit as well?
Well, obviously the eligibility is a big part of it. Ensure that you have been registered for 1 year and that you have been operational prior to applying for it, and that you can manage the grant. We'll look at the sustainability of the projects as well. If they can be sustainable even after the project has completed, we'll look at the level of impact that the project will be having. And finally as well the budgets, because like we said, we have limited amounts of monies, but at the end of the day, we try to see how much you can do with what we have.
Yes,
okay. All right. So when are calls, when is the call open?
Well, it's already closed.
Oh, it's closed.
The first phase of it. We're doing it through a two-step approach, yes. And this is because we don't want our partners to be developing a full proposal, doing all this thing. Yes. Yeah. So it goes through a 2-step, which the first step opened the 5th of August and it closed the 25th of August, where they submitted a concept, just a broad idea of what you want to do. We screened it for eligibility, and out of the 37, 23 passed. Oh, nice. And those were submitted to the Blue Bonds Committee, which is the technical review committee that decides which are very well aligned to what we want to achieve. So out of those, we had 17 out of the 23 that received an acceptance letter. And I'll take this opportunity to just share that if you have received an acceptance letter, that does not mean that you have been approved. It just means that you have passed to the next stage of developing a full proposal.
Yes,
well,
excellent.
What I appreciate about this is it's really an investment in the marine space, protecting the marine space, as we said, but it's combined effort now. So it's us coming together as a people, as communities, as individuals, as projects to say, hey, we got to do this together. And then the Belize funds come and says, hey, we have the finances to back you all. Just tell us how best you're going to execute this. And so that encourages me, because I know that the future of our marine space is in good hands.
All right. Well, we have 3 trivia questions that we want to share with our viewers, so we hope you were listening carefully. And they come with goodies as well for the persons who get them correct. So the first one is, name 2 specific protected species or species of conservation concern that funding from the Belize Fund is supporting.
Question number 2, name, and for that first question, we did have a list of at least a few of them. For the second question, name 3 of the conservation milestones that Belize has achieved with the support of the government, strategic allocation, GSA, through the Belize Fund.
And the final question is, in the 2024 grant cycle, what new funding opportunity was added to foster greater inclusivity, and what is the maximum award amount for this category?
All right, so I think we discussed
we
all
discussed
of these.
them all. I ensured that we asked the questions.
Right. And so there are answers out there, and we have some goodie bags for those who answered the question correctly.
Yes. So please, throughout the show, ensure that you answer these questions in the comment section. The first person to answer these questions correctly, we will be announcing that goodie bag giveaway and the names for that person at the end of the show. But this is also the end of our first segment, and we want to say thank you guys so much for stopping by this morning, explaining this opportunity to persons who would like to contribute to marine spaces, like Paul mentioned, and we wish them all the best.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
And sharing.
All right, we are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into the Belize Birding Festival. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers Bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
Whether you're enjoying the outdoors.
Ooh, finally here at the Fort George Hotel and Spa. This is nice.
Or stuck in the office.
How can I help you today?
When it comes to finding the perfect frames and lens for your eyes, what you do makes all the difference. Elevate your eye vision. Choose eyewear that reflects your lifestyle. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa. And for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Prepare for the heat and stay cool with a Reamer Grey air conditioning unit from Benny's. Choose the right BTU unit size for your bedroom or living room and enjoy complete comfort. You can also save money with an inverter unit that is energy efficient. When the heat is on, stay cool and comfortable with an affordable, dependable AC unit from Ream or Gree. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
My name is Leomar Langsert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is to see if the features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offered, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned with us. This is our second conversation for this morning, and this is all about highlighting Belizean women in business with NIME.
Yes.
And we have Ava Palacio, the owner of Lasting Memories Design, as well as Miss Angie Faye Jackson, the owner of Fabric Twist Design. Good morning to both of you ladies.
Good morning, ladies.
Thank you for joining us on set this morning. We're excited to talk about your business, your products, your passion. So let's start with you, Ava, over there on that side. Sabrina, take it away.
Yes. Now, I remember Ava, I think we even did a story on her, so she does have quite an interesting story, which really speaks to the project of what NIME is trying to achieve right now, giving women in entrepreneurship an opportunity to share their story with the world as well. Let's talk a bit about how you got into entrepreneurship, Ava.
Okay, so I started in 2020 during the COVID pandemic because I was working in the tourism industry. And as you all know, we went from having a job to having no job.
Yes.
So I had to use what was around me to survive. And I had my laptop and printer and I started to do printing, and then it just went on to, t-shirt printing, caps, mugs, different stuff like that.
So that has been about 4 years ago, and you are now fully invested in this business. Did you go back to the tourism industry?
Yes, I did.
You did?
So I work and have my business.
Now, I think you offer one of those experiences that a lot of people has shared on the morning show, Paul, starting a business in the height of a pandemic. Of course, there was a worldwide lockdown. How did you decide on getting into printing versus the many other ideas that were available?
Well, actually, I started to think what was going to be useful at the time, what people need. So the last memories came from, I wanted to do like funeral planning because people were dying. It was a sad reality. But I did some self-reflection and I realized that I can't do that every day. So I started to do like scanning, photocopying, printing because everything was online, so people were doing a lot of scanning. And then I went to do photo printing and it just went off from there.
Yes, and we've had you here quite a few times, even on the morning show, showcasing items for Mother's Day as well. But you have some festive items here on display this morning. Let's talk about them.
Okay, so these are my original Belize designs. So this one is the Belize girl. The here have the map of Belize.
Nice.
So,
Beautiful.
And then we
Look at
have the
that.
mahogany tree, we have the toucan, we have the drum, and we have the top hair.
You would have obviously had to incorporate some graphic designing in this as well. Did you do that on your own?
No, I did not. I hired a graphic designer. I just told her like my ideas, and she brought it to life for me.
Now, this is something that I think still ties in back with the work that you do in the tourism industry as well. So you're able to offer two services in one person as well. How has that been since you started?
Well, right now, what I'm trying to do is to get my products in the gift shops and resorts right now. So that's what I'm working on.
All right. Well, we will get back to you and continue the conversation on mentorship. Paul, let's talk to Ms. Johnson.
So we have Ms. Jackson over here. Good morning once again. Let's talk a bit about your business. What's the name of your business? Where are you located and when did you begin?
Yeah. Well, I've been involved in artwork pretty much all my life. I live in Spanish Lookout in Cayo District. And I moved to Belize about almost 12 years ago now, so it's been a little while. When I came, I was looking for new materials, new inspiration, and I mostly worked with fabrics, hence the name, Fabric Twist Designs. And then I decided to try some new things, and a friend gave me a little bag of scrap leather, and she said, see what you can do from this and see if you like the material. And I just went with it, and year over year I've been learning and perfecting my craft, hopefully. And this is what I'm currently working on right now. These are the products I've decided to go with. And kind of the same as Ava, the pandemic really affected me too, because everything closed down and we weren't having pop-up shops. We didn't have tourism here, had no way to sell my things. So I started focusing on wholesale. So when things open up, I would have some kind of products that I would be able to sell.
Can I hold one of your purses?
I
love the tote.
Let's talk a bit about
beautiful.
your approach to quality assurance.
Look
well,
at that,
I use
guys.
only Belizean leather, so I source the leather in the country, and so it's really good quality cowhide leather, and it's you know, it's a natural product we have in Belize. So that's important to me too, is to use the materials that are natural to the country here.
Yeah, I see Sabrina really holding on to that bag.
Yes, my producer just said, if you're good, I'll buy it for Christmas. And I just nodded in approval like, I got you, all right.
So this is what we have here. What do you call this? I'm a man. I'm trying to understand.
This is a tote bag.
Yes, I see a tote bag.
It's a tote bag.
This is a tote bag. This is a mini tote bag.
A mini tote bag.
Yeah, these are all hand sewn. So everything you see is done by hand.
Wow.
It's hand cut, hand carved, hand painted.
Wow.
Hand sewn. We have satchels, earrings, bookmarks, little eyeglass cases. And I also now can offer personalization on my products. So if you want to
These
name
are
or
eyeglass
something.
cases?
Yeah.
Oh, this is really nice.
Like sunglasses too.
Yes.
And you can feel the quality of the leather inside and out. How long would it take you to make something like this?
Probably around 6 to 8 hours, depending on.
Wow.
It depends. Usually the first one, you know, it takes a lot of time, and then the more I do it, the more I go.
What I really want to showcase to our viewers is that while we're seeing the leather on the outside, it also has a beautiful fabric, the detail on the inside as well.
Yeah, everything.
And you can really tell that I love the tote here. But look at that. Of course, these are fillers just to really show how big the purse is, but it has a beautiful fabric in here, which I imagine you came up with the idea of putting that inside as well.
Yeah, and so we have some of the bags. What else are we looking at here, Ms. Jackson?
So I have like little Christmas ornaments.
That's our Christmas ornament. And they're made of leather
All
as well?
made of leather, yeah. These are all cut in pieces, and then they're hand sewn with a bead, and then the back, of course, you can be personalized.
Oh, look at that. Belize.
Yeah.
So you really don't waste anything?
No, I use every little scrap, and the tiniest scraps, then I make little bitty earrings.
Earrings, of
Wonderful.
course, you have these earrings.
Now, ladies, you both are here showcasing the power of mentorship as well.
Yes.
We've hosted quite a number of you ladies over the past few weeks from NIME, showcasing that there is value in entrepreneurs finding a mentor and the ways that that can allow them to build themselves, build their confidence and their self-esteem, especially when it comes to marketing themselves on media platforms like Open Your Eyes. In this instance, are we looking at a mentor-mentee or two mentees? Because last week we had two mentees.
A mentor-mentee.
Okay.
She's been my mentee. It's been so grateful to have her to encourage me and push me to take the opportunity to come.
So what has the process been like for you ladies, using your individual stories and allowing that to have both of you grow in business? Because in this case, you are the mentor, Ava, but of course there's still room for everyone to grow. Yeah. What has the conversations been like between both of you?
It's been awesome. Like, she have a lot more experience in business than me, so I've learned, like, especially with the Belizean products and getting into the resorts and gift shops. Like, she been guiding me on how to do that. So it's been a really good
It's been good for me too, because sometimes I get so like involved in my own work and my own things, and it's hard for me to like put myself out there, and she's giving me the confidence. And all the ladies of NIME, they're super encouraging and telling you, you can do this, you can do it. So sometimes you need that little extra push.
To fight the nerves. She taught you anything about fighting the nerves? What are the tricks that you gave away, Ava?
To breathe in, breathe out, do positive affirmations. And just be confident, and no one can tell your story better than you.
Absolutely.
So how do you approach creating your story? Like, what are some of the things you have to consider when you're putting together the story that you want to tell about your business? What have you learned then about how to tell your story?
I believe that I learned that your audience, like, what they want to know how you got here. So that's what I learned.
And for you, Miss Jackson, like, for how do you guide individuals in terms of how to tell their story?
I think that you have to be honest, and that truth is the most interesting thing in the story behind it. And you know, I came to Belize as an immigrant, and I have to learn about the country, learn about the products, learn about the materials, and it's been kind of, it can be challenging, but it's also been very rewarding, and that it just to tell your story honestly, where you come from, what you do, and how you do it.
You know, from an outsider looking in, I can tell you ladies that indeed there is power in sharing your story, because you're able to, one, attract an even wider audience in your relatability as well. For instance, we all were in the pandemic. We all understand the frustration of what that uncertainty felt like. While I was not one of them that lost my job, there were quite a few people all over the world that lost their jobs as well and had to come up with a plan B. So I think that they can relate to the innovation that you came up with as well. And just like yourselves, there are many other persons living here in Belize that migrated to Belize and wanted to find their own place in their new home. So I have to commend both of you for being brave enough, courageous enough to tell your stories. And of course, we can't wait to see what else comes out of your individual businesses.
Yeah, I want to find out more about what has been one of the greatest challenges that comes with being a woman in business.
Well, for me, as balancing home and kids, I have 4 children, so that's always a challenge.
Yeah, finding time?
Yeah, finding time for me is the biggest challenge. You know, as an entrepreneur, you work late at night, you have little kids, and you gotta, you know, sleep sometime.
One of the things that I hear a lot from entrepreneurs that come on the show is that when you decide to take on this venture, you're the boss, you're the worker, you're the HR, you're the marketing person, you're everything. And then of course you still have to be a mom, a wife, and then a person for yourself. For sure. Is that a challenge that you also face, Ava?
Also a challenge for me, and I also work and go to school.
Wow, so there you have it, even more.
Wow. Do you get the kids involved in any way?
Oh yeah, I couldn't do it without that. My husband is very supportive, and I really try to keep my children interested in what I'm doing. I have 4, and they are all artists. Okay. And so, you know, they like to be in my paints and my materials and my stuff. So we have fun with that.
Yeah.
And they're very creative little people right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll see what can come of it if they keep pursuing it.
And for you, Ava, what's your advice to young women that find themselves in a similar position where they're seeking to venture into business, but they also got school, they got this, they got that to deal with?
I would say just never give up, like keep on pushing. There will be a lot of people that try to discourage you because it's not their vision, it's not their dream, it's for you. So don't listen to the noise, just stay focused.
Yeah. Well, ladies, I know a lot of viewers are probably wondering how can I get my hands on each of these items here on display.
100%.
Do you have any social media handles that you would like to share with our viewers on how we can access your products?
Okay, so I have Facebook at Lasting Memories Designs and Instagram also.
At Lasting Memories Designs. Yeah. And what's really important to mention is, while these are what we are seeing here on display, you also do other items. You do custom items as well. Yes. All right, over to you.
The same. I have Instagram and Facebook and, of course, WhatsApp.
Okay, and your Instagram and Facebook is?
At Fabric Twist and at Fabric Twist Designs.
Yeah.
Perfect. Ladies, this has been an absolute pleasure. I know a lot of people might be reaching out to you guys after this segment, so we know it's going to be a busy time. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And just to plug in there that NIME Belize is
going
actually
to say
a part of all of these discussions that we've been having is to prep people for the upcoming international forum, right? Tell us
on
we had it on the news
go
last
ahead.
night.
Yeah, on November 9th.
Yes.
And then, so there'll be a forum, and then in the night there'll be a business expo where you can sit, strut, and shop.
That's right.
Sit, strut, and shop. So it's on November 9th, and it will take place where? Remind us.
Well,
Belize City?
Yeah, Belize City.
Yeah, okay.
And then the business expo will be at the House of Culture.
And the business expo will be at the House of Culture. I'm sure we'll hear more about this as the weeks go by leading up to the actual event. And so we want to thank you both ladies for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
And we wish you guys all the best as
well.
well.
100%.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll be introducing you guys to an artist who pursued arts in Taiwan. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connection. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customer's experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
My name is Nayeli Yakab. I'm the coordinator of the Benga House of Culture Niche. Before the Belize Bank online service, I had to travel to San Ignacio because we don't have a Belize Bank branch in our community. Now with the service, I can conduct my transactions at the office, at the comfort of my home, just anywhere in the world. It has made my life much easier. I would recommend the Belize Bank digital services to everyone and anyone. It gives you back your time, it's highly reliable, it's available 24/7, and it just makes your life easier.
Hi, my name is Lincoln Fowers and I work at UMAL. 100% I will recommend Belize Bank mobile banking to everyone because it saves time, money, and gas price because gas price is high right now. Belize Bank mobile banking just make life easier.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
We all know about the phasing out of single-use plastics and the enactment of pollution from the plastics regulations. One of the key components in this regulation states that for an item to be considered biodegradable, it must consist of more than 50% of bio-based content. Here, you will find out how the Department of the Environment determines what items meet the criteria and what equipment is being used to guide that process.
Since 2019, the Department of the Environment has been working with CIFAS in doing microplastics. Through this project, CIFAS has donated 2 microscope Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy equipment to strengthen capacities on monitoring and enforcement to reduce marine litter and plastic pollution. The FTIR can be used to identify unknown materials. The Department of the Environment will use the equipment to determine the composition of single-use plastics and biodegradable products to enforce the environmental protection, pollution from plastics regulations.
While we have a long way to go with the implementation of the pollution from plastics regulation, having this equipment is one step closer. For more information on what's being done about biodegradables and ways you can help, visit our website at www.doe.gov.bz.
Welcome back. We oftentimes hear of Belizeans traveling to the Republic of China, Taiwan, Paul, to study various programs through our bilateral relations. Now, this morning, we want to highlight a Belizean who traveled to Taiwan to study the arts. He's also here showcasing some beautiful pieces, really. Some of the items that he now creates, and I guess based on things that he's learned as well in art school. We have here with us Randy Carcamo, an artist. Good morning, Mr. Carcamo, and welcome.
Good morning, and good morning,
morning.
Belize. It's
Yeah.
great to be back, especially during the September celebrations, which I haven't seen in 14 years.
Oh,
What?
really?
So it's, yeah.
You've been away in Taiwan for 14 years?
Well, 13 years, but I haven't seen the parades, the carnival, you
Wow.
know, I haven't gotten this festive energy.
You said, oh, it's not 14, it's
that long.
13.
Wow.
It's like,
I
that's
know,
still
right?
long.
Like
So
such a big-
how would you introduce yourself the similar way, but in Taiwanese? Like
In Chinese?
Yeah, in Chinese.
In
yeah.
Mandarin?
Okay, in Mandarin?
Yeah, how would
Alright.
you do it?
I would
Because
say,
13 years, so you must could do it.
You absolutely can, yeah.
您好，我是来自贝里斯的一个艺术家，我住台湾很久了，住了13年了，所以我会讲中文。
You done?
Wow.
I wasn't prepared for that.
just
but
done.
Yeah, that's incredible.
We can keep doing the interview in Chinese if that's what you.
Yeah, of
if
course.
That's what you prefer.
Goodness. Randy, that was impressive. Just hearing though as well that you've been in Taiwan for over a decade, I
Yeah.
can't imagine what that experience has been like. You obviously seem like you didn't come back in intervals
So what
either.
kept you there? What kept you there?
Well, I did my bachelor's degree and then I just stayed and did my master's degree, and I just graduated last year, and well now I'm trying to think of how I can make my comeback to Belize.
Okay, so when did you return to Belize?
I'm still currently living in Taiwan. I'm just here for a month, just doing some work, networking,
Okay.
and.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what do
Yeah.
you do in Taiwan right now?
Well, to get myself through my studies, I was teaching English.
A lot of Belizeans, we've been told, do that in Taiwan. But I wanna take things back a little bit and talk about 13 years ago when you made that decision to go to Taiwan to pursue higher education in the first place. Did you initially start with art? Was that the big plan this entire time?
No, I was doing biology and chemistry at St. John's, and I did that for a year and a half, and then I got the scholarship to go to Taiwan, and I learned Mandarin for a year, and then I wanted to change things up, so I decided to do engineering. But then doing a degree in a foreign language after just learning it for a year was not the best idea, I think.
Yeah.
So that ship started to sink. And then it was a sink or swim situation, and well, I just decided my only option was to go into the arts.
Did you have any background in art at that time?
I mean, I used to draw. I like the way light reflects off things, and I took some painting courses in St. John's with Mr. Damien Perdomo. And I remember one day he would. I never considered art before that, but then one day he pulled me aside and he said, "Randy, you know you're good.
You got something there. Yeah.
You should consider doing some art."
Wow.
Do you have a focus in terms of a specific technique or method where your art is concerned?
I do all kinds of arts. I do pottery, sculpting, painting. I mean, I have a short attention span, so
You have to move around, right?
I keep moving. I cycle them.
Yeah. Now, talk a bit about how you've developed over the years. So you went into art, pursuing the arts over there in Taiwan. Talk a bit about how you've seen your skills develop and what has contributed to that.
All right. So I view art as a tool. Like painting just in itself is a craft. You know, sculpting is a craft. To make chairs, that's like a craft.
Indeed.
But for you to have a concept in mind and you wanna know how can I get that concept to the masses. Now you can use your craft with this concept, and you can how do you say, propel your ideas to the public.
Yeah. So for you, this was this a specific institution that you went to study the art? Was it a specific institution you enrolled in?
I studied at the Taipei University.
Okay, so they have an art program.
They have an art program, yes.
Okay, and now that you completed a bachelor's
And a master's.
Masters.
So you completed a bachelor's first.
Yeah.
What was the bachelor's in?
Also in fine arts.
In fine arts, and then they also offer a master's
And then
program.
I did masters in art.
In fine art. What's the difference? Like, did it become a bit more complicated or complex when you got to the graduate studies?
Definitely. I mean,
Tell me about that.
in the bachelor's program, you focus on these crafts, like painting, the technical aspects.
The fundamentals of it.
Exactly, like
Okay.
traditional painting and sculpting, pottery, and that stuff, photography. And then when you get to your master's, you have to write a thesis. So you have to.
Yeah, you're moving away
that's a
from
challenge,
the
especially with a background in science. When I tried to do a thesis in arts, it felt so vague and abstract. But you have to have a concept, and you have to write an entire document. You have to keep that train of thought.
No, I would imagine your thesis is still a bit fresh in your mind. What was it about?
Oh, that the topic was very. It is also kind of abstract.
Yeah.
It's called Mapping the Matrix: Channeling Spirits Through Contemporary Memes.
Whoa, memes?
And yeah, memes.
You actually use the word meme in a thesis?
Yes, but not just the internet memes, also cultural memes like music, arts, language.
Okay.
How like intergenerational prejudices, biases can be passed down through single words. Like the other day I was watching a movie, Django Unchained, and he used the racial slur. He said something, "you Injun," and I was like, I thought that was a Belizean thing. What is? And I thought it was. I knew it was like a slur, but sometimes it's like just a word we throw around.
Yeah.
Not really knowing about the roots.
Right.
But the word still, even though we didn't realize, like maybe we might not be conscious that it comes from the word Indian.
Yeah.
It still has that prejudice in the word.
Yeah.
Even though we lost the roots.
So how are you able to tie art with these social prejudices and, in your words, memes?
I think, like I said, I come from a background in science, and what drew me to that was, of course, I want to, in Belize, I want to lift up Belize. I want to see Belize grow like these, like the other countries, like Taiwan also has a short history, but it has also managed to progress to that point.
Yeah.
So when I started doing art, I was also trying to think like how can I use art to help society, to build culture, Because if you have the institutions, you have the facilities, but the culture is not there, it won't work.
Yes.
Yeah, man, you are a treasure, and we need you back home. I'll let you know that right away. I'm still thinking, and I'm not the one to decide, but where can we place you to make the most impact in Belize? And I gather that you have a passion for promoting the art in Belize, and have other individuals interested also grow in the arts as well. I would imagine that you would have also had to display. Did you had opportunities in Taiwan to display your work, and what has been the reaction from those over there?
Yeah, you have to graduate, you have to have several exhibitions.
Okay.
So that's the graduation part. I've also displayed with other Latin American artists in Taiwan, in the Zhongzhenji Niantang, the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall.
Okay, yeah, okay, good.
And I was also invited to go to Guam last year to work with Aboriginal artists in Taiwan, and also all around Austronesia, like New Zealand,
Wow.
Tuvalu, Indonesia, which next year I was also invited to display in Indonesia.
Wow.
So I'm going to take these paintings back to Taiwan, and then next stop is Indonesia. And
For me, what I think I'm curious to know is how different is the art that you see in Taiwan versus the art that we see here in Belize? Is there any real difference?
Yeah, I would say yes. Like this, I think this is more traditional art, whereas in Taiwan, you know, we're thinking like installation art is more popular.
Okay.
Like art that you can walk in and you can see, you can be immersed in the art.
So it's an entire experience
and it's
versus
more-
something that you just see visually.
Exactly, it's more conceptual. Like you have to write a thesis if you want to be able to exhibit.
Mm.
Whereas here, it's like, you know, first impressions. If it doesn't catch your eye, people are like,
That's interesting.
what is this?
So what do you prefer? Which of them do you prefer?
Like I said, art is a tool.
Yeah.
So I think like this piece is something I would not make for myself. Like, but I'm thinking in Belize, how can I connect to the Belizean people?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at least for now, the way Belizean art is, or at least what I understand it to be, I think this is something that can connect, help me connect with this.
Well, let's take a look at it then. I mean, we are looking at a stunning piece here. Talk to me about how long it took you to put something like this together.
This is years of building in my psyche.
Mhm.
Like I had a bit of a contempt for all the jaguars and toucans, but so I had an idea to let me try to paint the mainstream Belizean art. And as I was painting, I think I really learned to have a better appreciation for this kind of art.
Mhm.
It's not just it's not just about realism. It's also about what they symbolize. Like the jaguar, you know, has a symbolic meaning way back in the times of the Mayans,
Mhm.
and the toucan and the macaw. So I incorporated some of the Mayan symbols, like the macaw there. Under its wing is the Mayan character for macaw, mo.
Wow.
Yeah. This is an incredible piece, and you could sit there and you could look at a piece like this. And again, you're right in saying that it appeals to Belizeans in terms of what we know as art and what we know to be traditional art. You, as a Belizean, you look at something like this immediately, it's like, yeah, I like that piece. And I appreciate that. So you head back to Taiwan shortly. When do you head back?
End of this month.
End of this month, so you're here for the celebrations.
Yeah.
I hope you're taking it all in.
Oh, I'm taking a lot of pictures.
A lot of pictures.
Yeah.
So did you join the carnival last week?
I was there.
You were there?
Okay.
I was taking pictures of the carnival and also of the people. Belize has beautiful people.
Yeah, 100%. Never forget that, because that's what will bring you back home to contribute back to Belize. And I would imagine that's your intent, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so when I'm taking pictures now, when I go back to Taiwan, I want to paint a series of Belizean faces. That's going to be my, well, this is my official announcement, I guess.
Great, you heard it here first.
Well, Randy, thank you so much for stopping by. We thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. You obviously have a lot to contribute when it comes to art, and we hope to take advantage of everything that you've learned and that all the skill sets that you have to give when you do decide to return back to Belize. So we wish you all the best as well.
Thank you very much.
right.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure.
All right, we are going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the Belize Birding Festival. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm connected. Yo.
I'm connected.
We're connected.
Create the perfect broadband bundle that fits your style with Smart Connect. With the Junior Bundle, get 50% off your national calls and up to 6 gigabytes of data at no extra cost. Get postpaid added on for an additional cost of only $25 with the Prime Bundle. Stay connected with unlimited smart-to-smart calls plus 6,300 megabytes of data and free international minutes. For the family, get the Binge Watchers bundle with Netflix add-on for only $28.13 more. This bundle gives you 4 profiles with unlimited streaming on multiple devices. Visit a showroom near you to sign up and personalize your own bundle combination with Smart Connect. Smart, bringing people together.
We are having our final conversation this morning, and as we mentioned, it's all about the Belize Birding Festival. We have here with us 2 members from the Belize Birding Festival to talk to us about the Belize Birding Festival. Renee Martinez representing the BTIA, she's a committee member, and Doris Chuck representing the Belize Audubon Society. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you as well.
As Paul mentioned earlier this morning, we remember having this conversation last year, only with different members, but of course talking about the community that is the Belize, that enjoys Belizean birding, you know, bird watching. Let's talk about that community first before we go into the festival.
So it is a growing community of bird watchers, and people do bird watching for different reasons. It can be recreational. It's been proven to be a very relaxing activity to engage in. And of course, we have our birders who do it for a livelihood. We have our tour guides across the country who are very skilled in bird watching, and they use it again to for income. It is important for our country, for tourism. We do have a lot of people traveling to Belize who specifically come here for birding and for the nature tourism that we have here in Belize.
Yeah, we also boast that we have over 600 species of birds. So that's something to be excited about, you know, and that's why we're promoting birding.
I think what I remember from the conversation that we had last year is exactly the experience that these bird watchers share when it comes to finding a new species. As you mentioned, over 600, and then maybe getting the 500th, you know? This is kind of like their own little sport for some of them, the competition that takes place to say that you saw this unique bird that's probably hard to find in certain areas. Is that what is shared to you, ladies, when it comes to the bird watching community?
Definitely. So as I said, it's a growing community of bird watchers we have in Belize. I always refer to them as a family. We see them all over the country, meeting up over the weekend or whenever they have time to just go out, explore, and bird watch, and to find these unique locations where they can find specific birds that are unique to that habitat, to that area. So yeah, we do see that becoming very popular here in Belize with our local birders, of course.
Now, for both of you ladies, is it an activity you all engage in?
I am new to it.
You're new to it?
Renee is new to birding, but she's getting there. I work at Belize Audubon Society, and so birding is not new to me.
Okay.
I'm not an expert, but I'm very much involved in bird watching and, of course, education, since that's the program that I'm involved in.
For you, what sort of personal gratification do you get from birding?
I think it's very relaxing, you know, getting up early in the morning and just strolling out in the outdoors, you know, and birds are very beautiful once you get them in the right lighting, the right time of the day. It's the colors really pop, and that's what excites me as a birder.
And for you, what's the new experience like?
Well, this is the second year I'm on the committee, but I know BTIA is a founding member of the Belize Birding Festival. Personally, for me, my experience, I learned how to use a binoculars.
Yeah,
I would
imagine that's the first
but
step.
I learned how to use one.
And it was exciting to watch the different species of birds, the colors. And then I'm new, like I said, I'm new to it. They can classify the different types of birds.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's this white bird with the blue
I was just
wing or
thinking to
something?
myself, how many birds can I like identify or say the proper name? Because I was just thinking John Crow.
Right, like that's the first bird in your mind?
Blackbird.
I'm sure you know at least 10 different birds.
I could tell you a
I'm
chicken.
sure you
I
know.
could spot a chicken from. Wow.
So the experience for you has been lovely so far.
Yes, and then I'm with them for the most part, and Belize Audubon also does a lot with birding.
Yes.
So even though I'm hollering a blackbird or a bluebird, they're like, oh, the scientific name. I'm like, okay,
that one right there.
I imagine it will take some time
Yeah.
for you to really get a handle of the scientific names, and over the years you'll be able to properly identify them. Now let's talk a bit about the festival coming up and what the planning process has been like and where we are now.
So yeah, the planning has been ongoing since earlier this year. It has been going well, and the festival is set for October 5th in Spanish Lookout at the Countryside Park. It's a nice big green open space if you've been there before. And so it's centrally located. It's a one-day event, and so we think it's very convenient for you to just drive up for the day to attend the festival. And we have a full day planned starting from 6 a.m.
Right.
With
a bird tour. And then we're jumping into the event where we'll have the welcome, a panel discussion, keynote speaker, and then we also have 2 workshops this year, just like we did last year. And yeah, it's
So we know that people are coming to one experience, watch or take a look at these birds and identify what they can there in Spanish Lookout. But when it comes to the panel discussion, what are some of the conversations that we can expect from the festival?
So the panel discussion will look at local bird conservation efforts. There are really good initiatives happening around our country in relation to bird conservation and habitat protection. And so those are some of the conversations we want to have to look at some of the challenges, some of the successes and strategies that we're using around the country for bird conservation.
Yeah, and then also like we mentioned, it's a new niche, especially when it comes to the tourism industry and promoting sustainable tourism and development is something that BTIA holds very strongly. So we're all for the birding festival.
Yeah, I like that there is a conservation component and there's a tourism component to it.
That's the goal.
That seems to be the
That's
goal,
what it
because
is.
you're thinking about birding and thinking about bird watching. I don't think the thought goes as far as thinking, wait, where's the conservation? And then it also impacts tourism. So are we saying that tourists come to Belize to do birding? Is that the case?
Tourists do come to Belize to do birding. Like I said, we have over 600 species. We do have a few migrant birds, and at this region, I'm sure you can find majority, on a list.
Yeah, tourists we find coming to Belize with what we call their life list. So they have a list of birds that they know they can find in Belize and in this region. And so that's what our birders, or bird watchers do, or bird guides do, take them to these habitats across the country where they can identify these birds. And that's really exciting for them to check these birds off their list.
Yeah.
A lot of birders also do photography. So it's showing evidence that I actually saw this bird.
Yeah.
There are actually good tools that you can use as well to help to contribute to citizen science, like eBird. So it's an internet-based database that you can upload your bird list to, and you're contributing again to that data on birds. Our guest speaker for this year is actually a data scientist. And so he's coming from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. And so we're very excited to have him join us and share what he has been doing with all this data, of which a lot of our local birders have been contributing to over the years.
So how do you join this event? Is there a sign-up process and a fee?
All right, yes, there is. And this year we're doing something different. We're making the Birding Festival a family event. So I know there's a lot of clubs. A few schools have a few birding clubs. I know the Scouts, they have their own birding activities that they do. So we're incorporating families, we're incorporating kids into the event. And to sign up, you can visit our website at belizebirdingfestival.org, or you can visit one of the committee members' pages, BTIA, Belize Audubon Society. And just, you can sign up there.
And what's the cost?
It's $35 per person, and then children under 12 years old is $5.
So will the event include, I mean it must, a bird watching segment?
We will be doing a beginner bird walk.
Okay.
So Countryside Park is nice, flat, open, and you can see several bird species there. So we want people who just have an interest, don't be afraid to come out and take the opportunity to learn. So we'll do that beginner bird walk. We'll introduce you to using a binoculars, to basic bird identification skills. Again, for children as well. We want to get children into bird watching from a very young age, so that they can grow with it and learn to appreciate it.
How many, you're going to say something there?
I was going to say the bird tour starts at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Yeah, so our event starts 6 a.m. at the bird tour. 10 a.m. the official ceremonies, and 3 p.m. we're closing.
And this is all a part of the package. So once you pay one fee, it includes all of this. How many species of birds do you guarantee one can find at Countryside Park?
Good question. I would say about 20 in that area. But remember, the morning bird watching will take you in the entire community, where you will definitely get an opportunity to see up to 100 different birds in that area.
I'm interested to know what that initial experience is like. Well, Renee, you just said that you are new to this. What was that introduction like, learning how to bird watch? Do you simply put a binocular in front of your eyes and say what you see?
Well, it takes focus. You have to look around first. Miss Doris did give me some tips. She said, don't just use your binoculars and look around with it. She said, just look first, see if you see anything flying, or see if there's anything in the trees. Then you put on your binoculars, and then you look, and then you will see,
Yes, so bird watching actually helps you with observation skills. That's the first thing we teach people. Just use your naked eye to just observe your surrounding. And once you see a bird and it's within close proximity, you observe that with your eyes, looking for field marks. So what this is distinguishable on that bird? Does it have a yellow head? Does it have a streak on the wing? You use your eyes to do that first before you go to your other resources, which are your binoculars and your field guide, your book, to help you identify that bird.
And the craziest part as well, even though I'm a beginner, there are a few birders who listen to the sound and they already know which bird is in the area.
By call.
That's the experience.
One day I'll get there, one day.
That's another level.
How many birds would you say you have identified so far?
So my list has over 200 bird species that I have actually seen in Belize.
Excuse me, I think if we really take our time as Belizeans, we would perhaps be able to increase our list. Like really, if we be intentional about looking, because one would imagine that these species, they're around us on a daily basis.
They're in our backyard. They're a part of our life here in Belize. They're a part of culture, a part of these stories that we hear growing up. So we can identify a lot of birds.
We just don't take the time to do it, right? To look up.
We did the urban bird tour
last year.
Right in by Memorial Park area.
Last year.
And I'm sure they saw dozens of different species of birds.
So when we're talking conservation and the fact that there are tourists who travel to Belize to see specific types of birds in this region and in this country, do we have any specific birds or species of birds that we are currently protecting at this time?
Yes, we do. We have our parrots that are really in trouble. Because of all the pressures that they're facing, habitat loss, because of the pet trade, which is still very alive here in Belize. There are other birds like our orange-breasted falcon, which are also endangered. They're very specialized, and so you find them in in very specific areas of the country. And so there are conservation efforts going on locally to help with these species specifically. There's also the scarlet macaw program that's being run by FCD. So there are a lot of local conservation efforts happening. We have to be very mindful that we won't have bird tourism if we don't have habitats, if we don't have forested areas, if we don't have the ecosystems that support bird life here in Belize. And so that's the link between tourism and, you know, the bird watching. We need to have the healthy habitats that the birds will come to, and then we'll have destinations that we can take tourists to bird watch.
And those are just some of the conversations that we will be hearing at that panel discussion as well,
Definitely.
I imagine.
I saw, Sabrina, I saw that there's opportunities for booths to sign up as well. Does that opportunity still exist?
Yes, we have limited spaces. So if you want to sign up, please do so now. Visit the Belize Birding Festival page. It's belizebirdingfestival.org. And there's sign-up sheets there, and we will get in touch with you as soon as we receive it.
What types of booths are you accepting?
All right, so we have a few limited numbers of food and beverage. Food trucks, and then the exhibitions. We want bird clubs. We want commercial businesses that are selling like birding equipment, MSME, and members. You know, I know Chanchich is pretty much one of those who will definitely be there, among a few other resorts. You know, that does birding.
Yeah, as I said, bird tourism is big in Belize and it's growing. We have so many establishments, tourism establishments across the country that offer birding tours. And so those are the people that we have seen over the years participate in the birding festival, just showcasing what their properties have to offer and their birding tours. It's an opportunity for them to share and network with other properties who are offering bird watching as well for tourism. So yeah, you can also learn how you can, you know, get into one of these tours here locally in Belize from one of these organizations and establishments that offer bird tours.
And again, this is a family event, so if you have absolutely no experience in bird watching, this is a great opportunity to bring your family out and see if it's something that you might enjoy.
Yeah, it is.
And stay for the rest of the day to educate yourselves on the importance of this as well. Ladies, remind us of the fee to attend the birding festival, the date, the location, and of course why it's important.
All right, so it will be October 5th at Countryside Park in Spanish Lookout. The fee is $35 per person, and kids are $5 per kid under 12 years old.
Wonderful. Any final words?
Just encouraging everybody to come out. You know, if it just piques your interest, this is the opportunity to come and find out if birding is for you. And again, remember that birding is important for us in Belize, for tourism, for livelihood. Birds are good indicators of environmental health, and that's another reason for us studying and being interested in birds.
Do you need to bring your own binoculars?
No. So you can come, and as I said, we're doing the beginner bird walk. We will have binoculars there for people to use and to participate in the bird watching activities.
All right. Well, thank you ladies so much for joining us, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you as well.
All right. And as we wrap up the show here, Paul, this morning, we do want to share those winners from our first segment. There were 3 giveaways. However, we only had 2 persons answering. And those 2 persons that answered correctly were John Rodon Jr. and Andres Grajales. Guys, we have 2 goodie bags for you, so please stop by our studios here on Coney Drive to pick them up. Of course, bring along your IDs as well. And as we wrap up the show again, we want to say thank you to all of our guests who stopped by, but it's very special thank you to you guys for tuning in with us. It is September 12th, and we have a birthday shout out this morning. We want to say a huge happy birthday to another Channel 5 staff, George Tillett. Look at him there. Did you know that George could play the guitar?
I don't think George could play the guitar for real. That's probably just him posing, but George is one of the longest serving staff members here at Channel 5. George has been at Channel 5 since its inception, actually. So 32 years, I think.
A very long time.
33 years, actually. A very long time George has been with us. And so we want to say happy birthday, George.
Happy birthday to you.
They want us to sing for him, but we not have a singing voice this morning.
Not this morning, but we do want to say that we appreciate you and all the work that you continue to do here at Channel 5. As Paul mentioned, he's been one of the first people that started with the original staff members on Regent Street.
And he's been here ever since.
He's been here a very long time, and we only hope to have him for much longer.
Yeah.
But for anyone else who's also celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you guys as well. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oie@channel5belize.com.
And of course, you can catch us on Facebook Live every single morning at Open Your Eyes, BZ.
As well as on Instagram for behind-the-scenes contents at OIE Belize. Thank you so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow for Fun Friday when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Thursday.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by SMART, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.